무기 얻어왔어. 무기.
Looks like some sort of habitation.
No one to talk to for miles and miles. Unexpected. It gives me the shivers.
I could do this all day!
Oh, you got that?
시간이 없어. 그다음에 위쪽. 뭐야? 가져가는데. 딴 데 이동해야겠네.
There.
좋아 좋아. 내가 안 먹었나? 좀 먹었나? 너는 어우씨. 그다음에는
Ah, your face is a sight for sore ocular processors, Captain.
너에게 이걸 주지. 아 근접이야?
Or rather, your headgear is.
컨버가만 그 아줌마한테
The groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark.
쉬고 노트 데리고 가야겠다. 어디 보자.
stand by while this unit returns to your side.
다시 왔어.
Move along.
If you're... I found a handsome...
정보도 얻어가는데.
Hey.
It's all... Straight. Anytime, sweetheart.
됐다 됐다. 저안 되면 이거 빵 쏴야지. 가. 소리 나요.
Hey there, Cap. Be seeing you. 그 다음에 넘어가자.
Warning, intruders will be... Oh, it's you.
맞아. 타우타우스 갈게요. 마지막 아니겠지?
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the lab. Please be advised. Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident deaths. The interior. I would also add. Oh.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. You are hereby I'm sorry, you people? You're up to...
아 이거 가면 좀 간다.
Huh? I just couldn't see you clearly before. Screen's on the fritz. Damn. Anyway. Wait, is that...
Transmission terminated. How can I be? What's that?
뭐지?
Define. I see. What do you mean? Truthful, it doesn't. According. Thank you for. I have been. How do.
가자. 아유 저기거든. 그래 1등 부하는 우주를 지키고 있어. 3대 공원만. 그지.
The captain did right by us once. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardet!
Wasting my time.
Processing data.
Here they come!
Mode activated. On your left, customer, cell holder.
아유 명 빠졌다.
Get up! Come on!
아유. 나 우야가 안 빠졌어. 싶은 거 더 사야 하나?
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be Resident count is as follows: 3,071. The interior can... I would also... Oh.
Attention. You are here. Huh? Anyway, Tartarus Docking Authority sign. Wait, is that from the Groundbreaker?
Transmission... How can... What's... Define... I see. What do you... Truth... It doesn't... According... Thank you for... I have been keep... I do...
빼고. 쌤 너는 여기 지켜.
The captain did right by us once. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardat.
Ever wonder how long we'd last out on the surface?
빨리빨리.
This might be the loneliest place in the whole
위험했다. 여기는 있고.
Let's look around. There's gotta be a few ways through here.
빨리 나 빨리.
No? I'm on my way. Moving.
Are you new here?
Got your paperwork squared away? Hey, stay! Hold it. No, I meant your... Huh?
저거.
Thought I saw something.
Hold on. Of course. Apology.
저 마빨 다 썼는데? 어디 보자. 화창인가 이거 조심. 무게 바꿔서 방어 먹었다. 야, 너희들은 방어 준다. 끄떡 가야지.
On my way.
와 저거야.
The captain's here. Let's go. I want to see all of you busting ass.
Incoming! Yep, be right over.
Here we go. Bless our eternal mind.
팀워크.
Be right there.
On my way back!
Gotcha. Coming. Heading out. That's gotta hurt. Don't mess with me.
On my way, boss. Coming your way.
빨리 와 빨리 와 부탁해.
Well, look who it is. I'll be... And I see you've brought the kid along.
Yeah, keep talking, pal.
I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing.
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. My word! It's a wonder. But... Oh, yes. I don't know what happened. Let me ask you something.
Are you kidding me?
I'm making actual...
그지.
I'll admit, look, I'm not an unreasonable man.
Are you... I've had enough. You even...
또 왜 그래?
You're...
If... I've got work to do.
Heading back.
Yeah, boss?
Ain't feeling jittery, are you?
Yeah, boss?
Captain, you have an uncanny talent. You've disrupted. Do you imagine you're leading those You're nothing. Doc, all. Fair enough. Yes, my sign.
빨리 끊어.
That isn't true. That We're going to have to start off. You were old.
아이고 씨, 사떡이 딱이다.
This.
저 너보다 싸워라?
Processed.
Heads up, boss! Here I come!
Here goes nothing!
스키스 나갈 거다. 저 로봇도 어떻게 쓸 테냐. 싸우기 전에 다 모아 다.
Here they come!
Gotta get past that armor! Don't let up! You're going down!
You got it, Captain! I'm on it!
Oh, good boss! Try another weapon!
어떡해. 아우씨. 아, 다 잡았는데. 왜 쫓다가 나오냐.
My time to shine!
I see it now! Can't get past that armor! You got it, Captain!
Watch this!
숨어야 돼. 어휴, 다 잡았다. 씨.
Why won't you just die?
That's the last of them.
봤어. 봤어, 알고 있어.
You don't know how glad I am to see you.
괜찮냐?
You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fort. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. You've broken the board's stranglehold on. You and I are going. Earth has gone 2 years ago.
Hold on, Doc. Are you telling me the Earth went...
They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth.
You mean we're all alone out here?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only... We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support any... Yeah? We have... You might... That... Yes. You... Thank you. If you have any... We must... We're going to need a lead... I doubt I could change your mind even if I... We can't. We are not a...
야, 오웬이 이제 자유 외톨이야, 외톨이.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation. but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. As the colony struggled to survive, the inspirational story of the iconoclast spread like wildfire. Zora's focus on logistics made for a safer monarch, where the iconoclasts enjoyed a surge of new blood looking to join the ranks from struggling townships. Life on Monarch slowly improved from a desperate fight for survival to prosperous growth and more permanent strength. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. As hard as she tried to drink them away, Nyoka's memories eventually overcame her. Traveling with the crew served as a constant reminder of the family she'd lost, and so she eventually returned to Monarch to get back to what she found most comfortable: the deep end of a bottle and the far end of a trail. Few have seen her since, but travelers often swear they hear her and her machine gun in the night, screaming swears and spitting bullets. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? You brought an end to the chaos on Tartarus, and left Dr. Wells to his own devices. The affairs of the colony never distracted you from living out your own dreams, to captain a ship, to sail the ether, and to earn a reputation as the greatest spacer Halcyon ever had. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
끝이요? 의아나 아우터월드 다 깼습니다. 다 깼고 저 누르면 어떻게 되지? 한번 보고 네, 이렇게 해서 아우터월드 풀었습니다. 한번 나중에 다음 게임을 찾아볼게요. 여기까지.